Hello, hello. It's Joy Foster, founder of TechPixies and the host of the Sparkle and Thrive podcast. And I'm really excited today to be joined by one of our alumni, Fiona. Hello, Fiona.
Hello, Joy. Hello, ladies. Thank you for the invite.
I am so excited to tell your story. The thing about TechPixies is I very often, I'll start working with a student or, the team will start working with a student. And we sort of know it's all going to work out. We don't know how, we don't know when, but when it does, it's so exciting. And I just love your story, and I'm so excited to be able to tell it today. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about you, where your life was at when you came to TechPixies, and what you're doing now.
Oh, wow. Right. I'll try not to get emotional. I do tend to wear my heart on my sleeve. And I haven't, I'm not organised, I haven't got any tissues with me, so I will try not to start blubbing on Facebook Live. Anyway, even if I do, it doesn't matter, does it?
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, it's been quite an incredible journey, really. And I happened to sort of come across the TechPixies, and it was by accident, really. So I'll just give a little bit of a backstory. Yeah, so I guess well, originally, it's very hard to try and fit it all in quickly, but 10 years ago, I started cleaning. And, it's a great thing to do, if you need to survive, which is what I did. But, I'm not getting any younger, and it was really hard. But I did it as a kind of way to survive, because my marriage ended and I had to sort of have my own income, really. So I did the cleaning it was only going to be for a couple of months, because I'd qualified as a journalist at the same time, and I was unable to make enough money to sort of sustain an income for myself and my daughter. So I did the cleaning, and as I say, I did that for 10 years. And then I'd met somebody else in that time. That had all fallen through, and then I had to move house again. So I moved house just before the pandemic hit. And of course, I lost all my cleaning clients. So it was a bit of a scary time, really. But luckily, I had been doing a copywriting course. So I got that finished. And then I had a friend of mine who helped me get a professional CV put together. And it was interesting because I'd never met this lady before. She was a friend of a friend. But then she happened to see one of your freebies on Instagram. And she said, "Oh, Fiona," she goes, "this looks really interesting. Why don't you fancy it?" And I thought, well, why not? I've got nothing to lose. So I think that was the Supercharge.
Yeah, which we now call Superhero, the Social Media Superhero Bootcamp, but it used to be called Social Media Supercharge. Yeah.
So that was way back in, I think, February 21. And then I just loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. So then I signed up and I did the one in May, which was the boot camp, wasn't it? So I did that. And then I just thought, oh, do you know what? I really want to do this course. I thought I knew I couldn't afford it. And then I received a scholarship. So it was honestly, it's just been incredible. It has just opened up a completely new world for me. And with the cleaning, I mean, I never thought I'd ever be able to come out of that. And, I guess being part of the community and meeting all this incredible, inspiring, uplifting people, I managed to get a job. So it's a part-time work from home role, which is what I wanted. And it's allowed me to sort of continue with my copywriting, and, I want to obviously focus on that. So yeah, I mean, that has been amazing.
Tell me what it felt like. And I sort of know, because when I got the message from you, I was just overwhelmed myself. But tell me what it felt like, the last cleaning job. What did that feel like?
Do you know, I just couldn't wait. I always imagined the day when I would stop, and I just had this big dramatic thing that I would just dump all my cleaning cloths and all my cleaning products with this big sort of dramatic exit. But actually, on the last sort of house I cleaned, I felt quite sad as well, because I guess it had been part of my life for such a long time. And it wasn't just the cleaning. I think it was the relationships that I built as well with people. But also there was that sense of like, oh, wow, this, you know, this is a chapter that's coming to an end now. So it was a mixed bag, really. But the cleaning bag still went in the bin.
One of the stories I like to tell about you, and we don't have to go into all the details, et cetera, of you know, where you're working now and what you're doing, but we talk about signs. You know, we talk about signs at TechPixies, and one of the things that we talk about at TechPixies is something called the reticular activating system. So what you focus on grows. Where you put your attention is what you're telling the universe is your intention, and where you put your attention is where your energy flows, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, so Fiona, talk about the sign that you saw that helped you.
Oh my goodness, yes. Did I tell you about that when I was out shopping? And
Yeah, I was so excited about it.
it was mad because I was at church and a couple of people prayed, and then somebody said, oh, wouldn't it be amazing if, you know, that we had a sign that would just sort of show us the way? And they said, oh, but God doesn't work like that. So anyway, so I went to do my food shopping, and I came out, and the car next to me had like the logo of this company that I'm working for, and it was a massive big sign on the back of the car, and I just thought, oh my goodness, well, if that isn't a sign, what is? It wasn't neon, but it was bright enough to notice.
I love it. I love it. And I do think God gives us signs, you know, and I think when we're looking for them, you know, and I think that's the point is, you know, I mean, and in fact, last night it was really funny. I've been wanting my kids to watch the movie Forrest Gump because they're finally old enough to see it. And I had a friend who was going through a hard time, and it reminded me of the scene in Forrest Gump where Captain Dan or Lieutenant Dan is, because Lieutenant Dan loses his legs in Vietnam, and he sort of becomes quite miserable about it, and he's upset with Forrest Gump for saving his life because every male in his family died in an American war every single generation. So his destiny was supposed to be to die in the Vietnam War, but then Forrest Gump saves him, and he's really mad at Forrest Gump. And there's this scene where they're together, and they're working on a shrimp boat, and Lieutenant Dan's up on the top of the mast, you know, where in this on the shrimp boat, and there's this huge storm. It's like a hurricane that, you know, Eunice or whatever, that comes in, and he just starts, you know, Lieutenant Dan just starts yelling at God, like, and the thing is right before this moment, they had this right before this huge storm, they were talking about praying to God for an answer, you know. And so they're going to church every week, and Forrest Gump joins the church choir, and, you know, he's really active in the church, and Lieutenant Dan sits in the back drinking the whole time. He's really not wanting to be at church. But they get into this, they go out on this thing, and they're in this big storm, and he's just like, bring it on, you know, you can't take me down. And he's like, you know, doing that real thing, like that real wrestle with God. And their shrimp boat survives, and it's the only shrimp boat that survives. And they go on to create this this like hugely successful shrimping company. I mean, it's all fiction, but and then they, you know, then when Forrest goes home to look after his mom who's dying, Lieutenant Dan invests in a fruit company called Apple, right? And then of course now they're like gazillionaires, and he can do whatever he wants because he invested in Apple when it was a fruit company, and, you know, the computer company. And so it's a great story, but I love that part about Lieutenant Dan where he just you know, he just has that battle with God, and, you know, gets it out of his system. And there's a part later on where he sort of drops into the water, and Forrest Gump says, you know, he made his peace with God. But I love that part of the movie because, you know, it's human nature to have struggle, and it's how we face that struggle that really matters. And, you know, I know for you, getting a job was a struggle, and when you were getting interviews, but you weren't getting the job, and it kept happening. And there's a point where you just go, you're like on the top, like, I'm so mad. And I remember right before you went into one interview that you really, really wanted to go forward with the job, you were trying to get yourself ready for it. And I thought, we got to get on a call. You and I have got to get on a call, because we got to have this conversation about, you know, how, even though there's been failure after failure after failure, or setback after setback after setback, how we reshift our energy. So when we walk into the room, we bring to the table what we want to do. And you were incredible. I mean, I have never seen anybody just get it, apply it, and make it happen. Talk about that process and what that was like for you.
Well, you talk about our battles with God, but I think a lot of our battles are with ourselves as well. And it's like, if you sort of carry that sort of feeling or sense of failure, and you've had so many of them, it kind of impacts, doesn't it? And it compounds over the years, and it's very hard to kind of get out of that. But I think what I didn't realize, well, you don't know what you don't know, as you always say. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't realize that having this low vibration, the negative energy, which is what I was projecting, was, that was closing a lot of doors to me. And I just did not see that. Did not see it.
But what's amazing is once you did see it, it changed. I feel like it just changed everything really quickly once you did see it.
Yes. And I think, I think my tendency is to be quite negative because of the past, but it's like just making that choice all the time. It's like, no, I don't have to think like this, because actually thinking this way is going to create it.
The most powerful energy there is in the world is your thought.
Definitely. Well, it was like that Apple experiment, when I think you did it as well. I think a few of us did. It was quite a famous experiment, wasn't it? And I did it for a month. And I cut, one apple in half, put one in a jar, bad apple, one in another jar, saying good apple. And for every day for a month, I would speak all the negative things to the bad apple and all positive things to the good apple. And it was incredible. When I saw the difference after a month, like the bad apple had literally gone bad. It was rotten to the core. Whereas the good apple, it was still fresh. And it's just like, oh my goodness, talk about the power of words.
That is incredible.
That blew my mind.
Well, and I love that you went and did it. I mean, a lot of, and I did it too, you're right, because I wanted to see what would happen. And we have it in the shorts on YouTube, and we also have it on Instagram, where I actually cut the apple up, and you can see, and you're right, to the core, it was rotten. The one that you were speaking negative to versus the one that you were speaking positive things to. And that is such a powerful, like when you see that and you think, gosh, our words have power. They carry a vibration. And often we're not even saying them out loud. We're saying them in here over and over and over again. Yeah. In fact, I don't think I've got it. Oh, I do. And I'll show it on my screen, but I was doing some additional training, and they showed the picture of a human brain. This is absolutely incredible, and I think I will be able to show it, and we'll put it into the chat, but they showed, or into the show notes, but they let me just find it. They showed the picture of a brain that over time a negative person's brain starts to look like an alcoholic's brain with dementia.
Oh my goodness.
That's a brain scan.
That is crazy. Of a
real brain, that, what a healthy brain looks like compared to an alcoholic's brain with dementia. And what they're saying is
shocking.
It is, but it's amazing that we have scientific evidence of this now, just even with the apple. But if you think that's happening to the apple, what's happening to the inside of the brain, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and so much of, TechPixies, yes, we teach social media, which is great for comms, right? If you're going to go into comms, you're going to be a copywriter, you like social media, you're going to end up writing a lot of copy for social media or for emails or for websites, etc. But so much of what we learned was when someone goes to use social media, they've got these fears around it. They got fears of taking off the invisibility cloak, fears of leaning into their true authentic voice, fears of not being perfect, right? And fears of what's everyone else going to think, what's everyone else going to say, what's, that kind of compare and despair and spotlight effect. And what we learned was, if we can teach people, to reframe all of that and think about it differently, they can go through and do what they want to do. They can become who they want to become, because the limitation is not there anymore. And the things they're afraid of, we can rewire them with brain priming, which is the process we do through the neuro coaching.
Well, that's
So
so incredible about this course, Joy, because as you say, it's, it's holistic, isn't it? You've got the tech training, and you've also got the life coaching and, changing your mindset. And that is powerful stuff, isn't it? Because, if you believe you can do something, then anything's possible. And then, as you say, the brain priming on top of that. So it's blown my mind, really. I mean, I think my life has changed a lot since I started this. Just learned so much.
what are some of the knock-on effects that you've had in your life, not just around the career, because obviously that's one major positive change, but what are some of the other positive changes you've seen in your life?
I think definitely I've grown in confidence and self-belief. That's always been a struggle of mine. I think one of the first things we had to do on the very first course was to do a Facebook Live. And I didn't sleep that night. I was like, oh no, how am I going to get out of doing this?
How am I going to get out of doing this? I
really
love
bad,
it.
isn't it? And I just thought, well, you have to do it because you just got to put on your brave pants and get on with it. And I just thought, I can't do it in the house. I need to be outside. So I went down to the beach. And the thing was, I was literally straight out of bed. I hadn't no makeup. I just pulled a hat over my head and I was standing and it was a gorgeous sunrise. And I was standing there with my phone and I was just press the button. That's all you've got to do. And I was like, oh, I can't. But I did it and I didn't die. And I got such amazing positive feedback from it. So, and been able to do hard things. It's like, you can do it. And that helps you grow in confidence.
And actually, here's what I love. I love so much about that story. First of all, how can I get out of it? And then second of all, if I'm not going to get out of it, what do I need to change about in my environment in order to be able to do it? Right. And then the third thing was actually taking the action step and saying, right, I'm out of my environment. I'm here now. I'm going to do it. And then actually at the end, reflecting on it, going, wow, everyone thought that was great. And it was really positive experience. And actually in the end, it ended up being a really positive experience for you.
It really was. And then it takes the fear out of doing it again, doesn't it? Because you think, well, I've done it once and I've done it twice. I can do it again.
Well, and here you are now doing a live podcast.
I know.
TechPixies Facebook
my
page.
Goodness. Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely helped me grow in the confidence. And also, I think just what else have I learned? Well, just being thankful as well, I think, and practicing gratitude, which is something maybe I hadn't done enough of in the past. It's so easy to focus on the negative and complain about everything. But actually, when you focus on the positive and being thankful, that changes vibration as well, doesn't it? Which
Absolutely.
I've noticed. And it's such a simple thing to do. It's like, well, why don't I do it more often?
Well, and that's because we have a patterned way of thinking. And unless we actively change that way of thinking, it doesn't happen. And so, but you're right. I mean, the language of abundance is the language of gratitude, and you think, and it's a really simple concept, but people don't realize it, like, especially with kids. I mean, some people have, some people listening to this have kids, not everybody does, but think about a niece or a nephew or a godchild or, something else, someone else that you know and love. If you give them something and, you give it to them and then they're like, oh, I don't really need this, or it's not my favorite color, or it doesn't look that great. It's the wrong size, or, it's a different feeling than when you give someone something to someone, they're like, oh my gosh, I just absolutely love this and it's perfect. And thank you so much. You're more likely to want to give more again to the person who's grateful. And, I think, everyone knows someone who nothing you do is good enough and nothing you give them is good enough. And, it's just not fun to be around that person. And you sort of get to a place where you're like, I'm not going to spend time with that person anymore. So it is really a true thing that the language of gratitude is the language of abundance. And if people know that you're grateful to be with them and they're grateful to be with you, you're going to want to spend more time together, etc. So, I think it is very important to attract a life that you would love to come from gratitude on a daily basis. And I do love that that's happening for you and so many of the TechPixies, that we're, spending time every day in gratitude. What am I grateful for? What am I proud of? And really recognizing that.
Yeah, so it has been, it's been a journey, definitely, but it's an exciting journey.
Are you glad it's a journey you went on?
Yes, very much so. Well,
Good.
you know, and I've got the I'll just quickly say about the book that I contributed in for the
Yes,
menopause as
please
well. So
do.
that was very exciting. I completely forgot that was done through Instagram as well. Good old Instagram. I know we're on Facebook at the minute, but sorry, Facebook. But Davina had flagged up something with her book and asked for people to contribute. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'd love to do that. So I did it and I completely forgot about it. And then I got an email to say that I've been invited to an exclusive event for people that have contributed. So that's on the 16th of next month in London.
Oh my gosh, that's
I know, I'm so
amazing.
excited. I'm really excited about it. And I get a free book. I think I get a signed copy as well. So
That is well, and just for everyone who doesn't know, so tell people a little bit about Davina, who she is, what she's all
oh,
about.
sorry. So Davina McCall, she's been sort of promoting a lot of the menopause issues. And well, she's just been incredible, really, because I think for a long time people didn't really talk about it. It wasn't something that you did talk about, but she's sort of brought it into the limelight and, you know, and made us realize that, you know, women are 50% of the population and, you know, we're in the workforce and we need support and we need to be heard as well, because it's no fun going through it.
Well, and imagine if Davina did not take off her invisibility cloak and did not share the knowledge and wisdom she has, what that would have meant for so many millions of women, right? And I love that you saw something on her Instagram and you're like, I'm going to just do it. I would love to do that. I love that, the words out of your mouth. I would love to be in her book. I would love to contribute. And then it happened. And I think, you know, would you have had the confidence to contribute to something like that before TechPixies?
Probably not. No, because I think I've judged myself so much and end up talking myself out of it.
Yeah.
But then getting cross with myself because it's like another opportunity that I've missed.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But I think
yeah.
being with the TechPixies, and I think just being part of like-minded ladies is just, it just inspires you, I think, because we've all got such incredible stories.
Yes.
You know, we're doing things that we would never have dreamed we would have done, really. But it's just coming out of your comfort zone, and, you know, none of us really like doing that, but I guess it's the only way to grow, isn't it?
What would you say to someone who's on the fence about whether or not they should move forwards with a commitment to a program like this?
Well, I would say I'd give them a warning. It could seriously change your life.
Oh, Fiona, that's the best. Warning, this could seriously change your life. For the better, right?
Yes, in a positive way.
Oh, I love that.
Oh.
Well, I adore you, and you're such a great gift to the community, and it has been wonderful to watch this story unfold. I know it's been a bit nerve-wracking at times for you, but you know, we know that this is the journey, right? This is what it feels like as I'm moving towards this vision of what I would love. And you know, we get closer and closer every time we take an opportunity that's in alignment with our vision. We get closer and closer to the vision, and sometimes it's a stepping stone, sometimes it's the end all be all. But you know, everything that we're working towards, it's really important to know what you would love and to focus your mind on it so you can take the steps towards it. And I love that you're now doing something that you have always wanted to do, and you can now build on that, and that's so important.
Oh, it's exciting. Well, it gives you hope, doesn't it? Hope for the future.
Yeah,
really. And that's, you know, and then you want to keep on keeping on then, don't you?
absolutely. Well, and I think as well, you know, you are a single mom as well, so I think it also is really great for showing your daughter what's possible.
Yeah,
you know, that you can, this is, you know, you can be an financially independent woman who, you know, can raise your daughter and do what she loves, and you've done that and you're doing it, and that's very powerful.
yeah, thank you.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you for your time today.
Oh.
It's been great chatting with you, and I know there's going to be a lot of people in our community who will be inspired by this story. it's certainly one of the highlights that I've had this summer and this year, just to watch you make this transformation, and it's incredible. Now,
Bless you.
watch you fly.
Thank you, Joy. Have a lovely weekend.